This podcast is on a mission to end the orphan crisis. You're listening to Family is the Answer, powered by Podcast Network Asia. We share resources and stories to equip families who plan to adopt and foster, empower advocates who fight for vulnerable mothers and children, and invite communities to impact generations. I'm Chrina Henson, the Executive Director for Generations Home, a nonprofit organization and licensed child placement agency based in the Philippines. Learn more about our work through our website, generationshome.org. Now, let's jump in to this week's topic.
Hi, everybody. My name is Chrina, and I'm really excited to have you back on another episode of the Family is the Answer podcast. It's been a while for me, I feel. I wasn't able to sit in our last conversation with Alex Mendelson, but I know you guys had a really good time. I hope you guys have been enjoying the new content of the podcast this year. I am very excited about today. We've been looking forward to this episode for a while now. As you know, the Generations Home family, I feel like, has just kind of extended and is like growing and growing. And it's really amazing to see how God has caused us to walk really closely with some of our partners. And so today we're going to be able to meet some of them. We're going to have the chance to just talk a little bit about the current season that we're in and some new and exciting stuff happening this year. But like Jam is here and we get to sit on the same couch again.
Yeah.
After like it only happens once every 3 months, maybe. But Jam, as many of you guys know, wears many different hats. And aside from the work that she does with us at Generations Home, she's represented the work that we do in other communities as well. And we're going to talk about one of those communities today. We're talking about the Send. And if you guys are curious, that's great. So am I. Really excited to hear more about the Send. But with us is one of the people who's become really, really good friends of ours in the last year. It feels like a long time.
I know.
It's very long time.
So really excited for you guys to meet Austin Heil. And it's been a year, but it feels like we've walked together for a long time.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, I feel like it's been just over a year now since I met you, but I feel like from the moment we met you guys, from the first, whether it's whenever we met or whether it was on the Zoom calls, it just felt like family almost immediately.
Yeah.
So it's been super fun.
Yeah, that's been a huge blessing. And for those of you who are meeting Austin for the first time, Austin is a missionary to the Philippines. And that journey started for you, if I'm not wrong, way back in 2019.
Yeah. Yep.
And some of you might be familiar with YWAM. And that journey started kind of with a YWAM community and finding yourself in the Philippines. And I guess just developing really a love for this country.
Yeah.
Fast forward to today where you're moving your entire family back to the Philippines and leaving your home in Minnesota. And so, wow, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, this is my third time moving here now. So I moved here initially in 2019. And
you
then,
must really
we keep coming back. Initially in 2019, and then obviously shortly after that, COVID hit. And so my then fiance and I left and for a little bit, got sidetracked. COVID just never stopped. Came back in 2023. And then had to leave again for about a year due to some health stuff with my son, but then just got back here 2 days ago. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, welcome home.
Thank you.
I just wanted to take like 2 steps back, and because you touched on it a little bit, like, do you want to just do a quick introduction of like yourself and your family and where you guys are at right now in the season of your lives?
Yeah. So I have an amazing wife, Hannah, and we have 2 young kids, Alaya and Nalu. Alaya is 4 and Nalu is 2. Hannah and I met back here in 2019. So shortly after I moved here for the first time, I moved out of here out of pure obedience. I had never been here before, knew nothing about this country, but was asked to come. And so I felt the Lord said to come. So I came. And then a few weeks later, I find Hannah. And it's funny, I tell my friends at the time, I told them, I am not going to marry anyone out there. I was so avidly against it. Like they were all telling me, because they are all telling me, I know, they were all telling me, Austin, you're going to marry someone out there. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm not going to. So and then about a month or 2 later, I remember texting one of my good friends and I'm like, I'm so mad right now. And because I had a crush on this girl. And so fast forward a year later, or a few months later, Hannah and I were dating, and then obviously COVID hit. And so we, at the time, we were asked to go to Wyoming, Kansas City, just to get some life stuff figured out. You know, we were going to get married, we had immigration stuff, plus we never knew when COVID was going to end. But my wife and I, for the last, I guess she also moved here in 2019. So for the past, 6 years now, have just had this burning on our heart for this nation. My wife is Filipina, so she's from Cagayan de Oro, but then her family moved to New Zealand when she was 13. And so for her, and you guys will meet her on a future episode, for her it was a story of coming back to the Philippines, of the Lord calling her back, which she can share more later. But I feel like for these last 6 years, it's just been a learning of this nation, the calling of the Filipino people. And the really unique story I feel like the Lord has for this nation. I mean, there's so many avenues you can go down, whether it's the most exported people group in the world with all the OFWs everywhere, the resilience of this nation. There's this really awesome, if I remember the quote correctly, there's this really awesome quote by there's a general in World War II, and he said, "Give me 10,000 Filipino soldiers and I'll conquer the world." And so we've been, especially this last year, we left in December of 2024 due to some health stuff with my son. And I felt like this last year, it was a really hard year for us, obviously dealing with the stuff, the skin issues with my son. A really hard year. And there was some times where we're like, do we even want to go back? Because there's a huge cost to doing this stuff, especially moving your family. But this last year, every time we would go to the Lord and pray, it would just be like, there's still a story to be told in the Philippines, not just for us, but the Filipino people in general. My daughter, who is 4, she would constantly be asking, like, are we going to go back to the Philippines soon? She was so excited to come back here. And so I feel like we've just been on this journey for the past 6 years, and especially this last year of what are we called to do here? What is the storyline the Lord has for this nation? And we believe, especially coming up now with the Senate and what's happening, we believe that there's not only going to be a moment for this nation, but there's going to be a marking season where young people are going to enter the mission field, whatever that looks like. And that's something that I so deeply believe, that whether that mission field is the nations, whether that mission field is your campus, whether that mission field is, vulnerable, like helping with vulnerable children in your area, we just believe that the Lord isn't done with this nation yet. The Lord isn't done with the young people in this nation yet. And that's what we've been journeying. It's been a hard road at times. And again, we literally got here 2 days ago. So a little jet lag still. Got up at 4:30 this morning because the kids woke up. But just so excited. I feel like that's the overarching feeling for us, is we're excited for what the Lord's going to do. Not just through us, but through all our friendships we made, and what he has for this nation still.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a really exciting season for your family. And we're really glad that you have chosen to really sink your roots deep here and invest in the Philippines. I mean, that's really moving for us as Filipinos to hear too, that, a lot of times you could serve out of because it's easy and, proximity, it's close or it's comfortable. But to see you guys uproot your family, and it is a costly thing for you guys to do. Yeah. There is a cost to that for your little ones. And
yeah, no, I feel like that's really been a big shift for us, has been whenever you first learn about Jesus, when you first come to know him, right? Everything's exciting. Everything is like, this is awesome. And everything is great. And I had this feeling like, oh man, being a Christian, my life's going to be perfect. I'm not going to go through any trials or hardships. And I'm like, oh wait, let me read the Bible a little bit and to realize that's not the case. But I feel like these last few years, we've had a lot of really hard things and a lot of times where the yes wasn't easy. But there's something really special about whenever it sucks and whenever it's hard and you get up in the morning, like, but I'm still going to sign up and I'm still going to say yes. And I feel like, especially with where the world's at now, right? You look at everything going on. It's like, it's not going to be an easy yes. Like it just can't be. And that can't be the message we're telling people anymore. It can't be in a message of this is only exciting. This is only great. It is exciting and it is great. But it also means really hard things are going to come. And are you willing and ready to say yes to that? And so that's been a really hard thing to learn, but at the same time, a really exciting one to be able to, it's really surreal for me and Hannah to be moving back on the plane. There was a couple of times we looked at each other and we're like, we're actually doing it. Like we're going back again. But it was really fun to be able to say, after everything that's happened this last year and a half, especially with our son, all the hardships, all the tears, all the moments, like to be able to say like, but we're still saying yes. Like we're still saying yes to you, Jesus. Like that's such a fun thing to be able to say. And that's the message I feel like for everyone now. It's like, all right, it's go time. It's going to be hard. It's going to suck at times, but let's do it. Let's go. And we have along the way, I feel like we've met some amazing friends. Like, let's link arms and let's run. So yeah, it's really exciting.
Yeah, I think that's what's super exciting about it and amazing to see how God doesn't call you to run this race alone, but really just seeing a growing community even come around us. That's what you guys are to us.
Yeah.
To just have people, be here, cheer each other on, and do exciting things together. Yeah. And so I want to talk a little bit about the Send, and what's common for both of you is you guys both sit on the team for the Send Philippines, and I don't think there's ever been one here.
No, this is the first, not just in the Philippines, but actually in the region, like even in Southeast Asia. Okay. This is the first and only the Send conference happening.
So you need to take me back to how you guys got connected. I just remember kind of getting a call from Jam. So I knew she was at kind of like the Send training happening in Hawaii, right? Yes. And I get a call and she's like, I met some really amazing people. Like, we're gonna do this, and this. And I'm just like, all right.
Sure.
Okay. But I thought it was just really cool how you guys got connected, and just the alignment of the work that you guys were doing and that we were doing, and that sense of alignment. But do you mind just telling the story and like how that all started?
Yeah, at least like for me, being in the space of like working with vulnerable children, we've been doing this work together for the last 8 or 9 years almost. And so I remember probably a year and a half ago, receiving an email from one of your good friends, Jeremy, saying that there's this thing, the Sen, and it's some of these stadium conferences happening in America, in Brazil, and just internationally. And the next one on the map is the Philippines sometime soon. Like no details beyond that, except that the design of this conference is so unique that vulnerable children is a key piece to it. That what it hopes to do is to send out Gen Zs and young people to different mission fields, and vulnerable children as a mission field is one of those. And so they are on the lookout for organizations in the Philippines, like local organizations to partner with, to mobilize young people too. And so I think like we came up as like the first search, like Google result or whatever, thanks to SEO and our comms team. And that came up. Our name came up, and they realized, it's so like it's very alike to what they had in mind, that we mobilize students and we do a lot of like work in the campuses in different universities and student organizations. And so we just quickly kind of like just connected, got on a call. And as the more that I was hearing more about the Send, it just resonated with how we've always done our work, really. It wasn't something new. It wasn't like a big crazy idea, although the scale is crazy. I've never heard of a scale like this. But the idea of this being a next generation ministry is not new to us. I mean, that's how
I guess it's new in the space, but that's always been our heart.
Right, exactly. And it kind of just brought me back to like being a student myself and hearing God's voice to like respond to the needs of vulnerable children as a student. And like I feel like I've gone through that journey, that it is possible, and to just have an avenue to be able to bring that to the eyes and ears of many other young people was exciting to me. And so I kind of like leaned into that and like wanted to know more, until a time where they were like, hey, we're building a team that will one day mount this in the Philippines, so can you join this training? And that's how I got sent to Kona, not knowing what to expect, except like I will have this hat of like the lens of working with vulnerable children. That's what I'm here for, but not knowing that just the bigger picture of being so missional, being so like multi-generational. It was just beautiful to see. So, and then I met lifelong friendship.
Yeah, it was hilarious because I was in Minnesota at the time. We had just left the Philippines a couple months prior. Was pretty sure I was going to go to this training. Hadn't known about it for a while, and then I get this message from Jeremy like, "Hey, this person Jam from Generations Home, like who and what, like is going to come." I'm like, "Okay, sweet." Like excited to meet them in Kona. yeah, I mean, I felt like it was pretty immediate. I feel like whenever Jam and I connected in Kona during the training, where it was like, man, there's just such, I mean, one, Generations Home fit what the heart of the send was so well. Just the wanting to engage the next generation, and just, I don't know, it's hard to explain whenever things just like fits right. Like the feeling, it was just the vibe of it was great. Right. And it was like, man, immediately, because not everything fits well, you know, like you can have you can have amazing ministries and amazing people and just the connection isn't fully there. But it was just immediately, it's like you hopped into the conversations we were having really not a whole lot of knowledge of what the Send was. And then also just our personal connection was pretty sweet of just, this is going to be really good friendships. Right.
And I think like maybe you guys could give us like a big picture of like what the Send is. And I know it's coming up really soon. Yeah. But like, what is the Send?
Yeah, it's a great question. And there's a lot of different ways to answer it. But I think the broad scope of the Send is what it is, where what the day will be is a catalytic stadium gathering. There's going to be 2 simultaneous events happening at CCF Center in Pasig and then the Cuneta Astrodome. And it's a almost all day event of different speakers, different worship artists, and different just moments of worship and messages. But I don't want to talk about so much what it is, because what we said, and we said this a lot at the training in Kona, was the Send is not the event itself. The Send is the outcomes. The Send is what happens after the Send. And I want to say that at the start is because a lot of people listening to this might hear, oh, well, this is just another conference. Mm-hmm. It's just another worship gathering. And it's going to be an awesome conference. It's going to be an awesome worship gathering. I have had the pleasure of, I was at the initial Send in Orlando, Florida in 2019, and then I was at one in Kansas City. It's awesome and it's great. And I was personally a very similar event, was sent from something like this in 2016 in California. But the Send is not just the gathering. The Send is not just the messages and the speakers. There's these outcomes. And we have 3 of them, 3 main ones for this event. And it's vulnerable children is one of the main outcomes. Campuses is another one of the outcomes. And unreached people groups is another one of the outcomes. And so the Send is not just to come get a nice little, I love Jesus and I'm going to go worship with all my friends. The Send is come, get inspired, get equipped, get sent. Like go into these mission fields. And that's the whole purpose of this event is we want young people, but really we use young people loosely. You love Jesus, go, come to the event. There's no age gap, and especially coming from a YWAM background, Youth with a Mission. Mm-hmm. Everyone's a youth in Youth with a Mission. Like there is not an age limit there's 80-year-old YWAMers who are just still young. Yeah. We consider them young. So, it's about coming, getting a heart for what the Lord has for you, whether that's engaging in the vulnerable children's space, whether that's going into the nations, whether that's engaging your high school or college student and to go into your campus. So that's really the heart behind it is come, get equipped and go. You know, I'm wearing the shirt that we made.
Nice.
Anoang Responsmo, you know, what's your response? What are you going to do to the hurt in the world? And there's a great quote from one of the founders of the Send. It's not going to be exact, but he's like, you might not have caused the hurt in the world, but will you be responsible for it? Like, will you be responsible for what's going on? Like, will you be responsible for your campus, even though you might not have caused what's going on there? Will you be responsible for the unreached people groups in the world, even though you might not have caused what's going on there? Will you be responsible for the vulnerable children in your life, even if you didn't cause them being in that situation? Like, will you be responsible for it? And so I think that's the overarching heart of the Send is that you'll come, get equipped, and then you'll go. You won't just come and feel good. You'll do something about it. Yeah.
Well, I guess I just want to hear a little bit about like that point on vulnerable children, right? As sort of like a focal point maybe of what the outcomes that we hope to see after that. I mean, there's so many issues in the world today, right? Like there are so many problems, so many broken things, so many broken places. Why vulnerable children? I mean, obviously that's close to our heart, right?
Yeah. But of all the things to choose from. Of all the things
to choose from, right? There's so much hardship. There's war happening in the world today. I mean, like, why vulnerable children?
Yeah, well, I think like the quick answer to that is I just love the heart of the leaders that started the Send.
Yeah.
And it's a group of friends, really. I mean, that's how it started. It's a group of friends. And one common link among them was they all are foster or adoptive parents.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
And so like if you put people together sharing this heart, it's inevitable. I mean, it's a non-negotiable almost that this is something that they want to leave as a legacy to. Like they want to leave youth to, with this heart, because all the hard work, like knowing the hard work, knowing the battles, as parents themselves who in their homes, like we got to visit the home of Andy and just spend time and just be around them, not even like talk about it in a strategic level, what are we going to do, but even just spending time with them and just have just a download of their heart for the next generation. They cannot do that without thinking of the next generation of vulnerable children.
Yeah.
And that's their heart. And not just them, but even responding to the needs of the biological moms and just knowing that the gospel is the solution, and the different translations of the gospel and of grace and mercy is the solution to that very issue. Made it very core to the vision and the heart of the Send. And I just love that. Like that to me, again, was something that I have never heard of, to be talked about in a huge conference, in a, even a conference that's designed for young people. And even in the last months, I even had the privilege of spending time with the Send California team, the ones mounting, the one coming up in Anaheim. And it's the same heart. And, all these leaders coming together and saying that, all our experience working with vulnerable children, whether as a foster, an adoptive parent, or the ones leading these different organizations, like what can we take together, we bring together and give to the hands of this next generation of responders. Yeah. And I just so love that. And I think he aside from, of course, that being like what's written in the gospel, it's like true religion, the practical and tangible way that we could pass on to the next generation is this, like a heart and the missional perspective of responding to vulnerable children.
I feel like this is the right crowd to say this to, and it may be a bit audacious, but it's almost like the gospel is incomplete without vulnerable children involved. Like there's no way, you can't read the Bible without being like, this is a core emphasis here.
Yeah.
It's not just a good idea. Right. And even if you want to think pure strategic gospel, it's like, well, the kids, obviously, like the next generation, that is the most next generation you can get, is whenever you have young children involved. And there's this, this was years ago, and this isn't about the Philippines, this is about the US, but there was this crazy quote that I heard. I'm pretty sure it was at a Send, and I think Andy Bird might've said it. Sorry, Andy, if you didn't say it. But it was for the foster or orphan crisis in America. If every church in America would adopt or foster one kid, not Christian family, church, structure, would adopt or foster one kid, it would be solved in America. And when I heard that, I was like, this is unbelievable. Yeah. Like just one church. And just think about if one family said, hey, I want to do it. And then the church around them said, we're going to come around and support you financially. We're going to come around and support you with like, hey, we'll help watch the child. Like we'll help, you need meals, you need whatever. Like that is the body of Christ stepping up and saying, I will take responsibility for this. And I feel like, especially with an event like the Send, where there'll be a lot of young people there, I feel like the lie is you have to wait till you're older to get involved. Yeah. It's like, what kids need is they need good examples of teens and young adults who are like, hey, I love you. And I want to come, even if it's just I'm spending time with you, or hey, I'm going to come out and take you for a meal once a week at this thing. Just get involved. I'm sure you guys are those experts, but there's just so many ways that it makes sense. And it would be so weird for an event like this to not have that aspect of it. Because there's no such thing as, I'm the gospel without caring for the orphans and caring for the vulnerable people around you. Like it's not.
And I love that, because I feel like for a long time, we sometimes feel like, we're crazy. Exactly. And not everybody would think of engaging young people and the next generation in an issue like, how do we care for vulnerable children, and how do we stand in the gap for them? Yeah. And to see thousands of young people mobilized, and sent into these places where vulnerable children are so desperately waiting for someone to introduce them to Jesus,
Yeah.
to show them what love is like.
Yeah.
It's just a really exciting thing.
Yeah.
And so tell us, like, when is all of this happening? What can we expect from the Send Philippines this year?
Yeah, well, the one-day conference, which is really, as Austin mentioned, and I just want to echo that, it's the catalytic event. It's happening on June 12th. There are 2 venues, CCF Center and Cuneta Astrodome. But it's after that, that's what you should be prepared for. Like, it's not just the moment, but the movement after the Send. So from June to December and even onwards, there will be opportunities to be engaged in those different mission fields. So what that looks like, even for vulnerable children, will be these events where you will be really equipped better, not just as an individual, but as a community, as like pockets of people, be equipped to respond to the needs of vulnerable children, even have opportunities to be among the children and to spend time. And we're crafting and designing different events that would serve that purpose, or bring this mission to your own community, whether that's your church. And so we'll be grouping them together. Once they respond that this is the mission field that they want to be involved in, we can bring this mission to your church and like equip your church to be able to do this. And that's what's very exciting about it. But all that starts on June 12th, and registrations are ongoing.
Yeah.
I would encourage, I think we have packages for like those coming in groups and, coming in as different churches. And so all that's ongoing. I encourage you to kind of sign up right now.
Yeah.
And don't miss it.
Yeah. And I think anyone and everyone can come.
Yes.
Age doesn't matter.
Yeah, I wanted to ask all the hard questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you have saved or unsaved friends, bring them. If you have friends who are a little bit curious about what this whole thing is, bring them. It doesn't matter. It's going to be, I want to reiterate, it will be an amazing event. It's going to be so fun. Like, it's going to be the best worship, the best speakers. We have some amazing speakers coming, amazing worship artists coming. It's not going to be something you want to miss from an event itself, but it also is going to be such an amazing opportunity to get equipped and sent in ways that you might not have other things like it. And we will, I think that what's going to be so fun is that, following like what you said, is that if you want to take action, there will be a team of people who are committed to following up with you and making sure that you get the right tools and right steps to get connected to people with whatever outcome you want to play into, especially vulnerable children. If you want to be involved in it and you sign up at that thing and say, I want to be involved, there's going to be people who are following up with you in the days and weeks to come that are going to help you get there. So if you have this burning in your heart that's saying, like, I feel like there's something more for me in Jesus. I feel like I don't know why, I just feel like I really want to go to this event. Sign up, go to the event. If you know no one, go to the event. Just come. It's going to be amazing.
I think that's something we can all look forward to. June 12th is also Independence Day here in the Philippines, which I think is really cool. So it's a holiday. So block off your calendars. Try not to go anywhere on June 12th. I know a lot of us try to, do trip and travel, do day trips out. But if you can, stay in Manila. I think it's going to be a really exciting opportunity for you to just encounter the heart of God for the next generation, and for vulnerable children and, unreached people groups, and really just be a part of what God is doing in this generation. Yeah. So Austin and Jem, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We're really
Thanks for having
excited.
me.
Before I let you go, where can they sign up? Is there a social media platform, a website? Like, where do they get information, and how do they do the whole registration?
Yeah, so registrations are ongoing at the send.ph. So all the information you need is there, all the registration details about venues, and how to invite people will all be there. Even after the event, this is where all those information about mission fields will land on. And then you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram as well. It's the send.ph.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. Sounds
See
good.
you there.
We'll
See
see
ya.
you guys there. So thanks, everybody. That wraps up this episode of the Family is the Answer podcast. We hope to see you at the Send. Bye.
That was the Family is the Answer podcast by Generations Home, powered by Podcast Network Asia. Learn more about ending the orphan crisis and fueling our work through our website, generationshome.org. You can also find us on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If you found this podcast helpful, please leave us a rating so more people can find it too. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you at our next episode.